This is not ideal. Okay, sorry about that. Oh. Yeah, I have chat back now. Sorry about that little adventure. I'm not really sure what was happening with my OBS there. And so they are both started. Apologies for that. Sorry about that. So yeah, so they're both fighting Darland. I'll explain the equipment glitch really quickly because I've forgotten it and you guys probably missed it or only saw it on Lenophis' side. Basically what's happened is through a glitch in the PSP version that involves pressing RNA and LNA, you basically get a different equipment corresponding to the value of the first character. So, for instance, they take the hammer from the first shop, and what they do is they turn it into the knight's armor. They create 4 pieces of knight's armor plus 1. They unequip the last one. They sell it to the vendor so that they can buy 99 potions, or so that they can buy anywhere from 66 to 99 potions. They also buy, 60 to 99 potions. They also buy 21 fiend stones and 21 antidotes, usually. Some people will change those numbers here and there, but that's generally the amount that you're going to see. They want a little bit of gold because they want to buy gold needles later for safety. Gold needles are optional, but in a race, you're going to want to keep gold needles around because they are very important. Otherwise, your run can just die. Right now, it looks like they're at about the same pace, obviously with stream delay. One being on hitbox, the other not. You're going to see on their timers are about 10 seconds ahead. So they're actually about on pace with each other. So this is going to be a very close race. Whew. I hope that you're all having a wonderful day. And once again, I am sorry about that. That start. I told them that they were okay to go whenever, and then that whole thing came up. Glad that it only took 2 minutes. Streaming can be hard. So basically, you're going to notice that however they walk, they're going to be trying to maximize the number of plains tiles, as I like to call them, the green tiles on the world map. They have a lower encounter rate than every other tile on the world map, so they'll be intentionally walking on it. There obviously isn't actually that many of that tile on the world map, and there's an ambush, so you can't really do anything. Basically, they can't die to a random encounter. They can't even really die to a boss, to be honest. So they're basically going to keep trying to run away. Looks like there's already a failed run on Lenophis' side. And they're both about, it looks like Nicky's watching is a little bit unoptimized. She ended up having to take an extra, or I guess to say it's actually fine. I have this mapped out very cleanly in my head on exactly where I go. I have little markers on the world map on where I make my turns. But I have to remember that in FF1 there is no penalty for change in direction. You don't lose frames like you do in other RPGs. Looks like we lost a few frames, but looks like even though Nickynoel is behind in timer, got to the pirates first. So what they also did is in Darlin Tower they made the Judgment Staff from the leather hat. Same thing, they press R and A from the hat slot to the weapon slot, and they were able to create 4 pieces of Judgment Staff. They're both at about the same part right now, with Nicky a bit ahead. This is going to be a pretty close race, honestly. These two are great racers. They're top tier in Final Fantasy speedruns in general. Both of them speedrun lots of Final Fantasy 1. Leno being top time as well as Nicky. Nicky's got top time in many different categories, including the glitchless and the GBA category. Neither of them have that much experience in NES as far as I know. And here it is. Sahagin Big Eyes. You probably as a kid thought that Warmech or, say, White Dragons were the most dangerous encounter that you ever had to face against. Maybe even those Dark Mages in the Ice Cave with their Faragas early on. No. Big Eyes and Sahagins are the speedrun's most dangerous encounter. They're extremely hard to run from. They can paralock you, which is why you'll see in these races a lot of times they're just going to Judgment Staff them. Normally, what they would do is they would always try to run in a like record or PB attempt. But when you're in a race, you can't really take that risk that it's going to take 3, 4, 5 attempts to run from. And you're going to see different people are going to do this in a different order. They have to go into this town to get the golden needles at some point for safety. Nicky chose to go there first. You might see, I don't know if Leno went there first. Sometimes people, what they will do is they're actually going to go on their way back. When they are grabbing the Mystic Key from the Elven Prince, they are going to stop and grab the golden needles from the town. The reason why is because they're already sort of spawned into the town when they enter the cave. After they grab the Mystic Key and they grab the Mithril Hammer from the Mystic Key chest, they're going to go and grab gold needles. Some people will do it on their way there. I believe that both ways are about the same time. You do save a few world map steps by doing it the way that Nickynoel did, because of where the game spawns you. If you enter from the right side of the map, instead of having to go around the castle, you save a few steps and end up inside the castle town, possibly preventing an encounter. So Nicky actually did it the optimal way. A lot of people, just for their memory, will try to just do it when they get the Mystic Key. Now we're seeing Leno is pulled quite a bit ahead right now. Again, this could just be the difference of their routing changes. Leno is just actually at the White Mage die slot, could slow it down a little. Pistol Demons obviously go down with a very, very quick flare cast from the Judgment Staff. Nickynoel is making her way through the Marsh Caves to go grab the crown to give to Astos so that they can get the Crystal Eye, which they can then give to Matoya, who will then give them the herb. Oh lord, this looks ugly. How so? Just let me know how to improve. I'm on a 12. I'm on a 1980. I'm on like a 1080, 1920 by 1080 layout. I believe that I should probably change that for next time. It's probably stretched out. Was the AGDQ FF run on this version too? No, this is the PSP version. The AGDQ FF run was on the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is a very, very different run. This run is broken. This run is about half the length. Fiesel and Gyre's run were on the NES, which is about a 3 to 4 hour speed run, depending on the route you use. Their route is about a 4-hour run. 3.5 to 4 hour run. The route that you'll see Fiesel do on his channel, the Black Mage route, is about a 3-hour run, but it has only about a 20% chance of success. This route has a 100% chance of success, basically. I'd say it's about 99. Oh, okay. You only, it's just the graphics of this version. This version, actually, in my opinion, has one of the better graphics sets. I'm a big fan of the 16-bit ish graphics that the FF1, FF2, and FF4 were given on the PSP. You're going to see that now, like Nicky, still has to walk to Astos. Very poor encounter lock. Now again, this time may change based on when Leno gets his golden needles. Again, my name is Zelnus. I'm a restreamer and caster and participant in the Final Fantasy 1 tournament. Yeah, Leno is going to have a very solid Astos time. Sub 12 Astos is very, very solid for a race. And that's probably what he's aiming at. He did lose his warrior, so that's actually going to help his experience. He did have his white mage die to the Pisto demons, which will lose him a little bit of time at the grind. Astos is already got a third spell cast off, his second spell cast off, which is kind of nuts. He usually doesn't get that off the slow, so you definitely don't want him to get a third spell cast off, because he will cast a aura spell and wipe your party at this level. Yeah, you're right. 99% is the success rate for this route. If you take safety precautions, you'll never lose this route. There are no safety precautions for the Black Mage Nest route. Do you see Nicky is already at Astos? We're going to see if Astos will cooperate a bit more. So, I'll explain a little bit of strategy that they're doing throughout this run. Throughout the early parts of this run until the grind fight at Evil Eye, what they're going to be doing is trying to keep their Thief and their Knight at around 70 HP. The reason being is that Evil Eye will cast a Thundara spell that deals about 70 damage, which you can then grind the fight out on your White and Black Mage to get to level 18 and a half. Level 18 and a half will mean that by the time you are done defeating the Nightmare, as well as the Zombie Dragon and the Citadel of Trials, plus any other unrunnables you may encounter, or fights that you choose to Judgment Staff instead of fighting, what's going to basically happen is you will then be able to learn Haste, Teleport, and Healara, which are the only spells required for this run. And by required, I mean makes the run a lot easier. You do technically need some form of heal spell to beat the run. Heal wouldn't cut it. Healara, with the equipment that we get throughout this run, is going to basically mean that Chaos is as safe as you can make it, while also getting about a 90-minute time. You see that Leno is already on the boat, heading towards the Matoya's cave to get the last item. Nicky is also there. Shark's actually quite hard to run from, and so sometimes you'll just see them whack them over the head with their Judgment Staffs. It actually takes a few turns of Judgment Staff to do, so generally what I'd recommend is do attempt to run from them. They're not that hard. It's not as bad as the Eyes and the Sahagin. If you are curious as to what the music that's playing on stream is, the music today is from the Final Fantasy 1 Random Encounters. My mind. Final Fantasy 1 Random Encounters album by OC Remix. I'll be playing a little bit of the Final Fantasy 2 OC Remix album Rebellion as well. Yes, welcome to week 1 of the Total Chaos 2 Final Fantasy 1 any percent tournament. This is the second of these that we're doing in the January-ish time period. The last one was last February, and it had about, I believe, 30 participants-ish. We got a few extra participants this year. Honestly, this is a very, very good speedrun, and if you're looking for a 90-minute RPG speedrun, for whatever reason, this is the one to go to. It's fast, it's easy to learn, and it's hard to master, and it has very, very competitive speedrun times, and a very, very active community. So both of our heroes have the Jolt Tonic. They're both heading back to their boats. This is where they're going to basically, we're going to see, because their routes are going to divert, are going to meet back up here. They should both be picking up the golden needles. Nikki has already gotten hers. Leno is going to need to get his. If Leno doesn't get his, then there's a very, very good chance that the game will punish him for that. Probably petrify his entire team. Honestly, it would be super convenient if Asuna was like within grab, like within a decent distance, but it's not. It's not worth it. Also, now I think about it, I don't think there's an Asuna equivalent in FF1. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there's just Poisona, so I don't actually think that would be useful. It's been so long since I played this game casually, I kind of forgot what all the spells are. Okay, so what they're doing here, again, this is the equipment glitch. It looks like, actually, Leno got the rare drop. He has a rare drop. Oh, hello. No, there we go. Sorry, I'll try to skip the music with audio. So basically, how they're doing this glitch is they're pressing L and A or R and A. Who won versus double drop and chill painter? I'm not actually sure. I was sleeping last night when that was happening. Thank you very much, Sacred Mikey. Yeah, Mithril Sword drop from Astos is really funny. It lets you get the Crystal Mail, which is far worse than the Thief's Armlet. So what they're doing, again, I'll try to explain. L and A or R and A at the same time in the equipment menu allows you to RON equip or dupe equipment, as you can see. So what they're doing is they're taking the Mithril Hammer and they're making it into Thieves' Armlets. So now they're actually pretty much even, as you can see, Leno. You're right, L and X or R and X. Sorry, I'm a dirty emulator player. Crystal Mail protects against Petrify. That would be an interesting route in then if you actually, like, every time you got Mithril, you opted not to get the, it is slightly, yeah, like, just because they've got the 10-second difference. But, I mean, in this game, being slightly ahead won't really matter until the last hit on Chaos, honestly. So, as far as this 10-second difference goes, if they're tied, I'll consider them basically tied. So, fine then. It's L and confirm or R and confirm, and it lets you basically dupe equipment. Every weapon and every armor has a corresponding, like, value in the memory. And so when you do the RON equip from a weapon slot to an armor slot or vice versa, what it causes is the game to read the memory incorrectly and generate the item that you need. It's like, well, it says you're supposed to have a judgment staff, so here's a judgment staff. Which is also why the equipment glitch doesn't dupe equipment if there's equipment in your inventory of that type. It just puts that type of equipment in. So with this glitch, we're able to get late game equipment like the Knight's Armor, which costs 32,000. You also sell one. There we go. So I think Nicky's, so just so you know, because of the resolution, it's going to sometimes look like they're not dashing when they are. So just keep that in mind. They are always dashing. Just their resolutions are different, so at some points it's going to look a little bit slower. To capture on a PSP, what you're going to want to do is, if you have a PSP 3000, you want to soft mod your PSP. There's some tutorials online for that. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to, it's different for every version of the system. PSP 3000 is the easiest though, you just need to do a quick soft mod. If you do want to learn, Cruel, the commentator from last night, is a great resource. But yes, for other versions, a component cable and an Elgato is fine. Yeah, if your PSP is 3001, the 3000 series is all of them can be soft modded to be streamed. So, if you ever want to, make sure that you join the FF1 PSP Discord, or sorry, the FF1 Discord, and Cruel on there will help you out. Or even just pop Cruel a message. He's a very helpful guy. I'm sure he wouldn't mind the message, especially to get more people into streaming this wonderful speed game. So they've both dynamited, so they now have access to the entire world. From here, they're going to go to Melmond to do the Earth Crystal. You have to do the Earth Crystal first. From there, you then have 2 options, and then you finally can... You then have actually 3 options if you really wanted to get fancy about it. You could technically do Tiamat after Lich. It's just very... don't do that. Very weird. You're going to see here that they're going to sell their Knight's Armors. Grab the Steel Gloves. And the Steel Gloves are going to make the Barbarian Sword, which is the best weapon in the entire game. And they bolted that menu fairly quickly. So you'll notice that Leno, what he did is he used, so the tiles that have the dot on them don't have encounters ever. So you can save encounter chance by walking on those tiles. But movement in the boat is faster, so you save a little bit of time if you get no encounters while in the boat, while traversing the boat. Nicky saved technically like a second, maybe even not even a second, some frames. But every little frame counts when you're this close. They're both into Cavern of Earth, both on B2. Okay, Leno is the first one to be on B3. He is saving, so the reason he's saving is because he could get pure petrified here. So, that's why he decided to save. It takes a little bit of time, but it is worth it considering he's already had one petrify. Oh, and he's gonna go for the second run. Oh, there you go. Okay, so he does get away. So he's gonna have to use a gold needle. First encounter is involves 1 petrify. That's insane. So as I was saying before about health totals, Nicky's actually gonna want the warrior to get poisoned at some point here, or to get slaughtered by something to save time later. And here it is, and that's what the Berserker Sword does, everyone. One-shot the vampire. And rip your childhood if this game was part of it. Will there be more FF1 races today? I believe that there's some races tonight. I don't know if I'll be casting them. I don't think there's any after this one, but there will definitely be some races tonight. I will be racing tomorrow. For sure. Yeah, races tomorrow, races today. Okay, so they're both on their return trip. And we're going to hope that they can both get out of here fairly quickly. I always have really bad luck leaving. You're going to see that Nicky's trying to wait. So this bat could just bounce between here forever. So Nicky's just gonna try to force it down. So whenever whenever you're against an NPC, it will try to find a way faster to get out. But it can also just check the walls and yourself for a way out, but it will check faster. How's the Famicom Any Percent version? Only 7 minutes. Famicom Any Percent involves a memory underflow glitch, which, along with naming your characters very specific things, and doing very specific actions, you can cause the game to basically send you to a random encounter involving chaos. You run from that random encounter after you enter and exit stairs 64 times, and you can run from chaos, and then the credits roll. So, fun fact about the Shadows encounter, in NES, it's a 90% chance to be an ambush and a 10% chance to be preemptive. On PSP, it's an 80% chance to be a preemptive and a 20% chance to be an ambush. And there's no chance of it ever being a normal encounter. I think PSX is the same as PSP, and GBA, they're ambushes. So, shadows are weird in these games. Sometimes they're harder, sometimes they're easier. Okay, so they're both going. So basically, they think in the story, the vampire is the final boss, but then he's like, "Nope, there's somebody better than me." So you have to go grab the earth rod to break a stone tablet, but to do that, you need to get the ruby, the star ruby, to feed to the golem that's in the way of the sage's cave. Having you know back-to-back Shadow Ambush on PSP, harsh. Yeah, see, Leno got an ambush right here. Darkness, luckily in this version, not only doesn't transfer through battles, it also is just not a like strong thing. It only reduces the number of hits you do, so it really isn't a problem in this run. And they both just got ambushed by shadows, actually. The shadows are out for revenge. So they're both making decent progress. Leno is fairly significantly ahead right now. At least for this part of the game. They're both going to have fantastic lich times though, like probably sub 34 if encounter luck is anything to go by. Which is a very good time, honestly. Obviously some people have gone in. There's one person who's gotten a sub 30 lich in a run. A lot of people's golds are sub 30. Gold splits in this game don't really matter that much though. Oh, and Pistol Demons are unrunnable because they're flayed as a boss. So you have to kill them with 2 quick swipes of your Barbarian Sword. There's no difference in Japanese, US, and EU version of Lenophis text. So for PSP, I don't believe that there's a difference between English and European or Japanese. Japanese text is very, very slightly faster, but it doesn't, it's like 2 seconds. So you can actually access Japanese text in this version of the game, and Japanese text is about 2 seconds faster. I think maybe, it might even be less. Japanese kana is actually like 3 or 4 seconds slower than Japanese or English. So there's actually even slower version than English. So no, it really doesn't make a difference. Everyone just you can run on Japanese if you wanted to. I've sometimes just ran on Japanese for fun because this run doesn't actually require read-in. The only snake is I forgot like the exact position for haste. Like I just bought like 3. Like I knew it was one of 2, so I bought 2 different spells. Yeah, version differences none. Text differences very insignificant. And this is Final Fantasy 1. There isn't much text in it to begin with. Also, generally, for the Final Fantasy community, this is not a hard and fast rule. But generally, when you run a Japanese version, it has a separate time-in. Japanese speedrunners. Also, Nickynoel reached Lich first. You're gonna watch how quickly Lich. He's actually the most dangerous boss in the entire game. And he's dead. But he's actually the most dangerous boss in the speedrun. So there's that. So back to what I was saying. English speedrunners time from first input, which is usually new game or confirming pre-game settings, to the last input, or usually the last hit on the final boss. Japanese speedrunners count from powering your console on to the end screen, whatever that is, finale, at the end, etc. It's just 2 different gaming cultures. Yeah, so yeah, basically what could have happened there is Blizzara. Blizzara would have can kill any party at this point in the game. Very, very rarely you can have a warrior with just enough health to beat Lich is Blizzara, but it is extremely rare, and because your warrior should be under 70 HP for the upcoming grind fight to be killed in that fight, you generally won't have the health to do it. There's an even rarer case where the white mage will have that much health. I have seen the white mage have around 170 health at this point in the game, but that's very, very rare. You're gonna see they're gonna go back to their boat now. Nicky is actually getting in a fairly decent lead, although they're probably at about the same point, honestly. Although whenever Nicky's ahead, she's actually going to be a little bit even more ahead than Leno is, because Leno's time is slightly ahead. Again, this is all from the OC Remix album, Random Encounters. So Nicky is going to Crescent Town to grab the canoe. Now, the guy tells you to go kill Marilith in Mount Gulag, but you are actually... If you do that at this point in the game, even casually, you're gonna have a bad time. So generally, you're going to want to go grab the class change first. Link or it doesn't exist? Sure. 1 second. Linking it's going to be a little hard. Just search OC Remix. OC Remix random encounter. Final Fantasy : random encounters. I can't link it because all of my like windows are. I'd have to like take it away from like. So right now they're doing what's quotations optional equipment here to do the black garb. It's for a very short period of time. It's just for like the next 3 dungeons that you're gonna have the black garb equipped on a few characters. But it actually can make running away in Ice Cave significantly easier, so it's worth it to do. But you might see 1 or 2 runners skip this equipment menu. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey. Yes, Nikki did pull ahead. She pulled ahead at Lich, actually. She got to Lich earlier. She's taking less safety saves. She has more confidence that the game won't completely screw her over. Hopefully that won't. Hopefully she'll save in. So basically the next 10 minutes are the most dangerous 10 minutes of the run. Although hopefully it's not 10 minutes long. Sometimes it can be. The next 5 to 10 minutes of the speedrun for both of them is the most dangerous part of the run. They very, very easily can die. They could get ambushed by the dark mages. They could be ambushed. They could just fight white dragons. Evil Eye could just decide to kill them. Very rarely, but he could. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to die here. Double drop. Double jump. All I can think of when I see double now is double jump from the Final Fantasy or from the Midman Network Transmission speedrun at GDQ. That was a real pleasure to be in the audience for, honestly. Oh, paralocked by the undeads is a thing too. Although you won't generally die from being paralocked by the undead, but it can kill your run. So you're gonna see one little thing here. He's gonna try. He set his thief to run. I prefer to set my thief to judgment staff. Thief should have enough magic stat to judgment staff these away. Oh yeah, mind flares are here too. Those are an actual way to kill you. Cockatrices again, very rare that they're gonna actually stun all 4 of you. The dragons and the black mages, though, those are just unavoidable. There's nothing you can do. You can't play safely around them. So I generally don't consider like mind flares to be that dangerous because they're very easy to run from. But like the black, so just like the shadows, the black mages here, or the dark wizards, can actually ambush you. They're a very low chance to ambush and a very high chance to be a preemptive. So, but when they do ambush you, they can just cast Farada, and that will wipe your party at this point in the game. Nikki actually ran into the extremely rare Ice Gigas Winter Wolf encounter, which is an unrunnable encounter at this point, it's a very rare encounter in the Ice Caves, actually. I think it's a 1 in 64 to get that formation. I haven't seen that in my runs in ages. 3 in 64? Okay. A little bit more than it's still very rare because there's a lot of encounters in this dungeon. You're gonna see Nikki is also doing that where she's fleeing with 2 of her party members. So you're gonna see that they're both actually, or sorry, that Nikki is lowering her party's HP by using those spites, which is another way to do it. Just get them below 70 HP rather than, and she actually gets to play safer for the rest of for the whole game. Yeah, White Dragon has 1 in 64, but you can run into 2 of them. You'll see that even though like Nikki is like went into Ice Tavern pretty far ahead. So okay, so this is the Dragon fight. Basically, they're going to be defending until he kills both the warrior and the white mage, or casts Thundara. And this, no, that's just stun. There we go, and that's gonna petrify. Oh no, missed. There we go. And now Nikki is just going to attack until those mages hit 18 plus 1, level 18 plus 1 encounter. So yeah, so this point of the game is very bland. I'm just gonna remind you to make sure that you make sure to follow both the racers. Make sure to follow Speed Gaming, the channel that you're currently watching. Make sure to support Speed Gaming however you feel like doing that. They do a great work for the community. Fiesel's a great guy. A lot of these tournaments wouldn't get the exposure that they need to be fun and successful and as big as they are without Speed Gaming, without people being able to just find these tournaments to watch. In case you're wondering, petrified characters don't gain experience. Yeah, sorry, Warrior Thief. So you're gonna see that Nikki's already done with the grinding. So I don't know why Leno has his Thief in position 1. Thief is actually like the most important character in the game, and whatever character's in position 1 gets hit more often. I'm sure he's just doing it because it looks cooler on the world map. That might be why, or maybe he messed up a menu earlier and I didn't realize. But or this is just how he does his Berserker Sword menu. But it's actually more dangerous because the Thief is going to take more physicals. So I'm gonna be curious to see if he switches it later on. Most people swap their white and their black, and there it is. There, Nickynoel got the Faraga. A double Faraga, no! Oh, survives. Oh my goodness. And that is surviving by the skin of your teeth. Surviving a double Faraga. I would not want to be in Nickynoel's shoes right now. I would be extremely terrified if that happened to me. Woo! Also, yeah, so a very important number right now is their Black Mage's health. Which is 215. So you want to have about 255 health on the Black Mage. And you can actually skip buying an item, although I wouldn't do that in a race generally. but you could. Black Mage being healthy is very nice because it means that he's going to get all of his hastes off during the Chaos fight. Although he could still not. Chaos could just kill him, but, you know, it's Chaos. They're actually about to hit the airship, which is what this song that is currently playing is based off of. And then they're going to grab their class change from Bahamut's Cave. So Leno actually got ahead because, probably just because of that encounter. One encounter can slow you really badly in this game. Like at any point, instant switch because of one encounter. Hey, Sabretooth. So here they are, they're going to buy Giant's Tonics, which is for the final fight. So they're actually doing things in a very different order. Nicky went to Escape. Now I'm not actually 100% sure where they are. So Leno is doing the Arnak side quest first. Because one streams on Hitbox and the other streams on Twitch. So Leno is... So this is another divergence in their routing. Nicky is doing class change first, while Leno is going to do the Arnak Fairy in the Bottle quest. Now I'm curious if Leno is going to be I'm very curious to see if Leno is not class changing. No, guys, it's purely because one is on Hitbox and the other's on Twitch, so it's just different delays. I'm not either of these racers. My name is Zelnis. Lenophis and Nickynoel are two different streamers. You can follow Lenophis at hitbox.tv or hitbox.com/Lenophis, same name there. You can follow Nickynoel at twitch.tv/Nickynoel. And if you really feel like you like my voice that much, you can follow me as well. But preferably you would follow Speed Gaming because you're probably here to watch tournament matches. So I don't really do that. I used to, not anymore. Well, thank you very much, Marsh Palace. Actually, I think my voice is a little different than normal because I kind of blew it out at GDQ. I'm gonna be honest. So right now, yeah. So Leno just did something slightly out of order. He went and did some. He went and did a side quest that Nicky's gonna do after Merilith. And he just decided he's gonna do it before Citadel of Trials. There's no real difference. It's just gonna mean that we're not gonna know who's ahead for a while. Yeah, my voice is usually a little bit higher, but right now I'm both stuffed up. No, I wasn't wahing. I don't wah. Oh, he's gonna do Bloodlast? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I know that Bloodlast is the old route, but I didn't think that they did class changes for that route. So yeah, we aren't gonna know. Wait, do you mean by Bloodlast? Do you mean after the tower? After the tower? My exact Twitch username is the username Zelnis. All of the names on the screen are the exact Twitch/Hitbox addresses for the people. Interesting. I've never seen this route, so this is gonna be very interesting. So just so you guys know, after they leave the Citadel of Trials, they're both gonna be going into completely different directions, which is gonna make my life as a commentator a complete living hell. But it'll be interesting. So they basically won't be. We won't know where they are standings wise, other than how many crystals they have. Haste on Ninja and Black Mage isn't that bad of an idea, honestly. I sometimes will buy, if my ninja ends up being a high enough level, which sometimes he is. If you have to fight a lot of encounters. Commentating two different routes, especially when there's one route that I only vaguely know. Like, I know of Bloodlust as a route, but I've never seen it used, so. It'll be very interesting to see how he does Tiamat. Well, he's a little bit under leveled for Tiamat. So at this point, Nicky will be going to Mount Blood. Yeah, I mean, I understand the logic behind the route, and it's a cool alternate route. Honestly, it's got a very very neat concept because the Black Mage could just die before he ever casts haste. But it's got a lower variant. It has a lower variance. The Black Mage could cast haste on the Thief anyway before the Thief gets an attack, and then that saves a lot of time. Having that extra attack as the Thief is really cool. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious to see how this ends up. Obviously, they're both grabbing their class change. They both grab the Rat's Tail, so why not grab the class change at Bahamut's Cave? Yeah. Yeah, and this route's very interesting. I like there's good concept behind it, and I like it when there's two different routes that have good concepts behind them. Like, for example, since we're in a little bit of a lull right now, they're both going to be doing some traveling for side quests right now. So in Pharmacy 9, for example, there's 3 viable routes right now. There's Tantarian with Knight, which is viable on PlayStation. Then there's non-Knight Tantarian, which is a newer route. Then there's finally what's called traditional route now, which is no Tantarian, no Knight, and it's just a very efficient route through the game that does nothing additional, and it just gets equipment as quickly as possible. So they're actually, in a way, going to be coinciding here. At this point, with Nicky grabbing the fairy bottle and Giant Sword, this is very weird to me that they're both getting that at this point in the game, because I get it after Mount Glug. So they're both doing this in a different way than I am used to, which is cool. I love that about this game. I love that there's so many different ways that you can technically do this run. Like, Nicky's doing the on-rack stuff before Glug, and I do it after Glug. I'm pretty sure I do it after Glug. At this point, this game is muscle memory to me. Yeah, I don't think that you'll be able to tell. Although, technically, Leno has done more of the things to complete the game than Nicky has done. Because he's already done the on-rack stuff, and she's basically just catching up almost at this point on completion marks. Although Sun and Shine might be a little bit slower because of lower levels. I'm not sure. That's what we're about to find out. Leno's going to grab the Healara as well as Teleport. Again, though, I mean, it's really dangerous to have the thief in the first position. It's going to take way more of a beating than normal. So Nicky is entering Mount Glug. Did Nicky end up going to buy spells? Or is this spellless? And it's just going to be using potions. Well, Cruel, Leno is doing a different route. Or not. Oh, no, never mind. No audio. Yeah, there's no audio with the game streams. It's music. That's intended. So now I'm confused. Because somebody said he was doing Blood last, and he's not. So they both kind of did different things. So I think that they're about the same. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Thanks chat. But I mean, in this case, it looks like Nicky is slightly ahead. Although Nicky didn't go and buy spells and is out of potions. Yeah, see, that's what. Yeah, nice Red Dragon. Leno has already gone to Caravan and gone to Onrak. So they both did the pre-Sunken Shrine stuff, pre-Sunken Shrine, pre-Gulag. Now, okay, Marilys should just die before casting anything, so this shouldn't actually be a problem. And it wasn't. So even though Nicky ran out of potions, enough to make one of the party members strong enough to survive, honestly, Nicky probably could have beat Marilith by just attacking with the warrior if, worst case scenario, there was an ambush from like Hellhounds and they used Blaze. Or if that Red Dragon decided to Blaze. So far, Nicky has gotten like so many bad encounters. A Red Dragon, luckily, was preemptive. Also got the ambush. Like, that ambush should have ended her run. The ambush from the two Black Wizards. So they're both entered the cutscene. They're both at Marilith with the exact same amount of completion done, just in a weird order. Nicky still needs to go and grab Hilara and haste. I'm not sure when. Now that Nicky's out of potions, I guarantee it's gonna be like now. It's just so weird to see them do this because it's so out of order. It looks like to me that they're so far behind, but they probably aren't, honestly. They're not that far behind pace-wise. I'll personally have a better idea of their pace momentarily. Okay, so Nicky's stopping off here. Galara for the White Mage. And grabbing Teleport for the Black Wizard. Getting in the ship and heading out. So it looks like Leno is slightly ahead. Although maybe not because... Oh. Right? That's my hope. I mean, I plan on submitting F1 PSP to SGDQ. And I think that would be a really, really good GDQ follow-up to the really successful NES run. Honestly, Fiesel and Jair just hit it out of the park with that run. 4 hours of constant commentary. You didn't even see that in the Wind Waker run, and that run has tech constantly in it. They were just talking about random things about Final Fantasy 1, and it was beautiful. Honestly, that's my top run to recommend to RPG fans for SGDQ. T2YD was pretty good too, but obviously it's T2YD. It's not an RTA safe run. so you have to bear with the fact that they're trying to do very, very difficult, almost task tricks, and fail in them. Well, yeah, it was a co-op, but they were able to just keep talking the whole run through. It was still an amazing run. Yeah, they split it off into 4 parts. So they trade off the controller 4 different times. But it's still a blast to watch. Especially with Puetzel on the couch, adding in his little bits and pieces here and there. I loved some of the comments that I read. Also, right now they're in Dungeon Shrine, which is the longest dungeon in the game, I believe. They have to go pick up the Rosetta Stone from the top floor, which Lenophis has already done. They need to teleport back 2 floors. The reason why this dungeon is very long is there's 2 unrunnables, I believe. There's 2 unrunnable encounters. And some of the encounters in this place are just hard to run from. Oh no, there's 3 unrunnables. Water elementals by themselves, ghosts, and... yeah, it's gonna be a good run. Yeah, I agree. FF1 PSP race at GDQ would be fantastic. I know, I always forget about ghosts, honestly. I used to get ghosts like every single time, and ghosts are not a big encounter for me anymore. I don't get them as often. And so now Nicky has the Rosetta Stone, but Leno is slightly ahead. Honestly, with some of the bad luck that Nicky's gotten, it's a real testament to her skill and knowledge of this game. I don't know what Leno was doing in there. What did he grab? I know Sag and Chief Prince as well. Water elementals by themselves, and ghosts. Water elementals with Nagas are fine. Did anybody catch what item he got there? Wait, what is happening? He already has ribbon? I'm so confused. Leno is doing something out of order. I don't know what though. Well, we've already seen FF9 at a GDQ. FF9 was at SGDQ 2013. 10 is probably too long. 10 is at 10 at 10 hours, even on the PC version, might be too long. But they seem to be experimenting with games. So honestly, I wouldn't count any game out. I sort of get it, but takes the risk away from Waterfall Cave. But you still have to go to Waterfall Cave, don't you? To grab the... You always have to go to Waterfall Cave. Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting to know. A 4-way Mystic Quest race with a good commentator would be an amazing run at a GDQ, in my opinion. But yeah, so right now they're both heading towards Kraken. Mega Kitterus, I think you're thinking of the FF9 run that was split into 2 segments. FF8 hasn't been ran at a major marathon. It might have been ran at an ESA. I don't 100% know ESA game lists as a dirty American, well, Canadian, but... yeah, so Water Elemental, you can see, is another unrunnable. Lenophis is about to fight Kraken. So Lenophis is pulling ahead, slowly but surely. I mean, at this point, there's no routing differences that they've done. They've both basically completed everything at about the same order. It's just they kind of did it in an order that's different to me. Also that. Also, in my opinion, FF1 PSP and FF1 NES are nothing alike gameplay-wise. At all. Also, again, Kraken falls like every other boss to a few swings of the Barbarian Sword. I think you can technically 2-cycle it with Warrior and Thief crit in. Oh, sorry, 2-cycle and 2 hit in it, but that's very rare. I'm not even sure if that would be enough damage, even. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Cruel, is there's so many differences, like, even GBA is very different. Bonus streams, I don't think count for their considerations on what has and hasn't been showcased at GDQ. Well, I mean, Abuki, they abused quite a lot of game mechanics in FF1 NES. Oh, okay, so maybe it's not as rare as I thought. Thank you for the info, poor site. I very rarely 2-shot Merilith and Kraken. I always get bad damage rolls. I am unlucky. Yeah, like, this is a really close race. Honestly, my bias goes towards Nikki. I've always liked watching her speedruns. Does anyone run the WonderSwan version of the game? When in doubt, it's probably Rory Extra Life. When in doubt, Rory runs a weird version of the game. But the WonderSwan version is basically the PSX version, as far as I know, so there's no major differences. So, this is actually the dungeon where not doing your menus properly is going to punish you. Not having survival vest in this dungeon makes running away an absolute nightmare. The agility of the monsters in this cave is insane. Nightmares in particular are extremely hard to run from. There we go. Oh, pff. Oh, Gyre's done the WSC run. Interesting. I didn't know that. So, Leno has already done his ribbon menu, which you're about to see here. So the ribbon menu is the most complicated in the game. I'll explain it now that Nicky's doing it. Basically, you get one ribbon, and then after that, you equipment glitch a giant axe onto your warrior, who you then, because warrior and thief can both equip axes, you can equipment glitch the ribbon onto the shield slot of everybody else. So it's the only time in the game where we duplicate an item that we receive normally with the equipment glitch. Every other time we create new items out of thin air. Okay, so now they're both completing. So the final side quest of the game is in the Sundian Shrine. There's the Rosetta Stone. You have to bring the Rosetta Stone to head out again. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, Cruel. Hope to see you commentating on here later. So they both have to grab the Rosetta Stone, which they show to two different people to get the warp. They get the warp cube from the machine that broke down, and then they can learn the language of the Lefenians here. And the Lefenians will then give them the final item that they need to access the Flying Fortress, which is the chime. So they use the chime and the bell tower to teleport up. So, and then small optimization is Leno teleports out. Those priestesses can get in your way. It's a very, very short time save, but it can be a very, very big time save. Honestly, they are right now not very far apart. Leno is just walking back to his ship. If he were to get a bunch of Minotaur zombie encounters here, that's the most annoying part about this walk to and from Lefenia, is the common encounter in these forests is actually, well, as you saw there. And Nicky is getting blocked again by an NPC. Nicky's run has been extremely unlucky, honestly. Bats, priestesses, everyone just does not want her to proceed in this video game. And here they are. So you can only land on plains tiles, and so there are actually very few tiles you can land on to access the Mirage Tower. Luckily, there's one that's fairly short, and the encounter rate is extremely low, so you don't generally run into encounters on your way to the tower. Now, that's made up for the fact that the Mirage Tower has probably the highest encounter rate in the entire game. It's a very frustrating dungeon to go through because it's got such a giant variance in the amount of time you spend. Because the walk to your ship from Lefenia plus the Mirage Tower is such bad for encounters, the walk in the forest being unrunnables and the walk in Mirage Tower just being filled with them, it can be a very frustrating when you're trying to PB and you're late in the game and you're few minutes ahead, and then you hit this point and you remember how bad your splits were and everything falls apart. Sometimes you get very lucky and not get that many encounters, but that's kind of how this entire game works. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, Leno got a pretty okay Mirage Tower, and honestly, Nicky's hasn't been that bad either. It looks like actually Leno's been getting quite a few encounters already on his way up to Tiamat in the Flying Fortress. 2 encounters on floor 1 is actually above average, I'd say. I love how fast-paced this game is, by the way. If you look away from one stream for 1 second, suddenly the other stream is on a completely different floor. And that's part of the reason why I like this game, because movement is a big deal. Yes, this game is very RNG dependent, but you know what? That's not a big deal. And here we go. They're both on the Flying Fortress. It's just gonna depend. So now air elementals are the only elemental that you can run from. But they have a very high agility, so that chance is actually quite low. Also, Nicky got a rare encounter, the Death Knight and the Nightmare, which is rare, but it's not a big deal. It's just, if you were... Actually got it again. I think that's a rare encounter. But I think here you're supposed to be seeing Black Knights, and... Actually, Leno is already on the 5th floor of Flying Fortress. War mech? No war mech. So 5th floor is the only place where we're gonna see war mechs. No war mech. Well, we might not be forsaken by war mech yet. here we are. Nickynoel is about to fight against Tiamat. Again, no war match. Although, don't be sad yet. You could get a war match before either of them touch the portal. I lost a run once because Warmat attacked me one step in front of the portal and ambushed me and then nuked me. So, it can happen. And right now, I mean, they're only a cutscene apart. Keep in mind that Leno was 10 seconds ahead on his timer and on stream delay. Although, maybe not anymore. What the? They're actually not apart anymore. I'm not even sure how that happened. I don't know when or how, but they're actually only a second apart right now. I blame Hitbox? Are they not? No. I'm saying that their timers are a second apart, guys. Yeah, the timers are somehow, like, synced again. Which is weird, because they were 10 seconds apart before. So, now it's actually easier to tell who's in the lead. Which it is Leno, who is just entering, who's just doing his healing pre-Chaos Shrine. So this dungeon has a lot of unrunnables. I'll name them as they come up. Purple Worm is unrunnable, but it's actually very easy to kill and gives a lot of experience. And this is great that this is right down to the final dungeon. Encounters and movement are going to be 100% what matters. Oh, and there it is, White Dragon. 4 White Dragons, and he runs away from them. That's a very dangerous encounter. He could have very easily died right there. Another unrunnable, which is the Purple Worms. The White Dragons are not unrunnable, they're just very hard to run from. Nickynoel is now looking to get a better encounter luck, hopefully in the final dungeon. Black Flans, runnable, just very weird. I still don't know how Nicky is now ahead on the timer, but whatever. I guess Hitbox runs at a very weird thing. I don't even know how that works. That's a Black Knight ambush. That is going to waste a lot of time. Luckily, Leno got, lucky for Nicky, Leno got probably the worst encounter in the entire game. In this entire dungeon, it's the longest to kill. Luckily, he used the gauntlets instead, which cast Thundara, which will clear that out very quickly for him. Looks like Nicky is actually pulling slightly ahead. Nicky confirmed Chrono Mage. And Deatheye is down, so Nicky is very slightly ahead. So this is an extremely close match. They're both looking at sub 130, by the way. At this pace, they're both looking at sub 130. This is going to be an insane pace. They're both playing the loot. Like, now that Deatheye's down, once they get past these few floors, this is... Oh, and Nicky's got the worst encounter. Nicky opted to not menu to the gauntlet. Oh, Dragon Zombies. Dragon Zombies are extremely dangerous encounter. They can't be Judgment Staffed. They can kill the party, and they... Oh, the White Mage is actually outspeeding, which means he probably equipped the Survival Vest as well as the Lordly Robes. Would be nice to know if they're runnable. Oh, yeah, Dragon Zombies are not runnable. That's why they're dangerous. Thank you very much, Sacred Mikey. Stole all the RNG. Even more unrunnables. Like, their encounter luck is terrible right now. Chimeras are runnable. This race is insane right now. They're both on floor 1. Nicky's having a hard time running from the Chimeras. Their agility is pretty high, which means them a little bit difficult to run from. White Dragons, again, difficult to run from encounter. Leno runs for it. First try again. Make me eat my words. Healara from Nicky just to heal that Blaze off. Leno basically got away scot-free. White Dragons, again, Nicky's gonna try to run from them. Let's see if these racers can make me look like a fool. The White Dragons aren't even casted. Oh, there's the Ice Storm. Nicky healing again to heal off that Ice Storm. And now they're basically safe. The encounters from here on out are a lot safer for the rest of the run. With the exception of being ambushed by Medusas. Golems are easy to run from, although if they ambush, they can cast Haste, which will take years. Earth Elementals are unrunnable, but can be attacked very quickly. Again, another easy to deal with encounter. Like I said, from here on out, the encounters are a lot easier for them to deal with, but the variance in what encounters they get is going to be a big deal. Leno is the first to Lich 2. Lich 2, the second most dangerous of the refights. He can cast Flare. Generally, though, at full health, they should be fine. Right now, both of their Black Mages are one of their Black Mages is weak. Leno's is pretty weak. Yes, the Medusas are only dangerous in the fact that it wastes a lot of time. Gaze is about a 5 to 6 second animation, and times that by 9, you've lost almost a minute from one single encounter. Which, I mean, at this point, that's a lot of time loss. Well, I mean, Nickynoel, honestly, every NPC that could possibly block her has blocked her the entire run. It's been amazing, honestly, to watch. Luckily, there are no more bad NPCs to block Nicky's way, but unfortunately, encounters can still do that same job. Leno is currently fighting Merilith. Merilith's probably the weakest of the Titan of the Chaoses. Low health, easy to one cycle, etc. Also, by the way, this is my favorite remix from this album. Currently listening to the Final Fantasy II album called Rebellion from OC Remix. Nickynoel's got Merilith down. The Water Elemental floor is got one unrunnable. The Sahagan Princes on this floor with the shards are runnable. And this is Final Fantasy 1. But, oh, and there's Water Elementals, which it would actually have been faster for him to attack. But casting that, it's honestly not that much of a time loss using the Black Robe. I really like that Leno is using all of his equipment to his best. So Nicky's trying to catch up desperately. And this is literally just going to come down to the final fight. This Chaos fight is going to basically kick it into full gear. And you know what? This is a really good run. So in the last dungeon, Sahagan Princes with the Sahagan Chiefs were unrunnable. They are now a runnable encounter because there's no chiefs in the party. Encounters in this game are actually runnable and unrunnable encounters are tied to the exact formations rather than the individual enemy types. Or though some enemy types are unrunnable, like all of their formations are. Yeah, using Black Robe there is faster than using Judgment Staff. Judgment Staff is the longest animation in the game, so it's actually like crazy good. They both, I think, got ink casted on them, which is rare. Nicky is the first to defeat a Kraken. So Nicky has pulled ahead, even with that amazing Merilith floor and a decent Kraken floor, although in a one-step encounter right into another one. What? Why did somebody go Big John PodChamp? If you think I'm Big John, then I'm Wow. But Nikki is stuck. Is still on. Oh, okay. So Nikki is fighting Tiamat. So what they're gonna do is he's actually gonna. Oh, she's opted not to cast haste with her Black Mage onto her ninja. A lot of people will opt to do that. I don't think neither of them opted to do. Oh no, he did opt to do that. That basically guarantees the 2 cycle. Okay, so Thunderstorm is actually kind of dangerous to get. And first down, Tiamat. Yeah, they're tied almost exactly. So there's just one more small menu to do. Oh, Drayden, Vampire Lord Drayden Zombie. I very rarely see that encounter. Looks like Nikki is up to do the menu right now. So basically what they're going to do is they're just going to slow down the thief. Oh, sorry, the White Mage by giving her clothing and increase her healing capacity. Okay, so Nikki is very slightly in the lead. Nikki's saving, which is good because she could get trolled here. With a perfect fight right now, she could get a sub 130 race time. But it would have to be an absolutely perfect fight. Like, Chaos would have to be the nicest. So, in this fight, so Chaos has a few little things to him. He has 2 different attack cycles he can enter on, which one is a skill cycle, which is 4 spells long. What they're going to try to do is on this first turn is basically a setup for the rest of the run. Giant Sonic is going to increase the health of the team to basically be safer. Healara is going to be set on the slower White Mage, who is going to never be outsped or who's never going to outspeed Chaos. The Black Mage is going to cast haste on the ninja, then on the warrior, then on himself, and then proceed to attack, while the other 2 are going to attack from this turn on. And so he starts the fight off with Hellfire. That means that he might be on a skill cycle, most likely, which is the most dangerous cycle and the hardest to deal with. These spells hit very, very hard. They can just wipe the party if they all high roll, but luckily, that's why we set the White Mage to have this specifically. And that Tsunami, the hardest hitting, so definitely on a skill cycle. Luckily, the next skill on the skill cycle is Earthquake, which doesn't do damage, and they're all protected by ribbons, so they can't be killed. So Nikki should be fine if he casts Earthquake next. It will allow Nikki to full heal. And there's an attack, so everything should be fine. Nikki, even though the skill cycle is slower, luckily, Leno actually has a faster cycle. All of the Aja spells are faster than the skill spells, so this could honestly be a big deal right there. Nikki actually, now he's casting spells, which is good. We're going to see what's going to happen here. This is going to be very close. It's going to come down to damage rolls. It's going to come down to skill versus magic being casted, because the animation time is such a big deal. And it's based on the last hit, so whoever's Chaos Stream flashes first is going to be the one to go down. There's a Tsunami, so that's spell 2 on the spell cycle cast in. We're going to see what happens. The last thing that either of these racers want is and Nikki wins! With a 130-45. I was extremely, extremely close. This is what this is about. Yes, Nickynoel, she has it. That was a great race. Like, everything from NPCs blocking the way to different spells happening. Nikki almost lost the race in Ice Cavern to a ambushed Dark Wizard encounter that ferrated her twice in a row. Got off by the skin of her teeth by deciding to attack rather than attempt to flee. Amazing race. What a fantastic run. Jeez, Nicky, your luck, you continue to best. So once again, feel free to click on Nickynoel's name and give her a follow. You can do that by clicking the follow button. It might be like a thunderbolt if depending on the application you have. She runs this game as well as pretty much every Final Fantasy mainline title, and then a few other games like Tactics Advance and a few others. You can follow Lenophis at, and it's hitbox.tv/Lenophis. If you want to, you can follow me. I also speedrun this game. You're going to see me in a tournament match tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, something like that. And yeah, basically, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow Speed Gaming. Make sure to subscribe or donate to the channel to help it continue doing these kinds of events. Support Feasel and everyone else who participates in the Speed Gaming channel. And if you're watching this somehow on YouTube, you can access this channel by twitch.tv/speedgaming. Make sure to give everyone involved a follow. Thank you very much, Feasel, for letting me restream on your channel. Yeah, so yeah, that was a close race, Leno. Thank you very much, both of you. I don't think that there's another race anytime soon. So, let me see. And let me change my thing so that I don't. Okay, so stream alerts. Okay. That looks like, okay, so nobody is running FF1 right now. So just because I'm a big fan, and I was given permission, I'd love everybody to just go raid Seraph's stream and just say 130. Just say I don't know, speedy raid. Oh yeah, and there will be more races tonight, so make sure that you don't forget to follow. Do not forget to follow this stream, and you can watch more races later tonight. Make sure to click that little notification bar as well. So yeah, absolutely. So make sure to go. Yeah, so, and thank you very much for watching. Everyone have a great and wonderful day.